There is a divine flow of abundance that surrounds every soul, a limitless reservoir of prosperity waiting to be tapped. The first step to multiplying your wealth tenfold is to understand that scarcity is not real. It is merely a shadow that arises from mistaken beliefs and fear. Wealth is not something to be chased or wrestled into existence. It is something to be recognized, claimed, and allowed to manifest naturally through your conscious alignment with the law of supply. You must realize that your thoughts are seeds, and the words you speak water them into existence. Every utterance of lack, every anxious worry about finances creates a vibration that repels wealth. Conversely, every declaration of abundance, every vision held with unwavering faith calls forth resources that may seem impossible to the mind, but are perfectly natural to the infinite. Begin to speak your prosperity into life, not with desperation or longing, but with a quiet confidence of one who knows that the universe is rich beyond measure and generous beyond comprehension. Fear has no place in the life of the prosperous. Doubt weakens your claim, and hesitation closes doors that were poised to open. Instead, cultivate a knowing that you are a magnet for opportunity. See yourself already enjoying the wealth you desire. Visualize your life 10 times richer than it is today, not as a dream, but as a present reality. Feel the joy, the freedom, the ease that such abundance brings. The law never distinguishes between what is imagined and what is real. It moves to fulfill the picture held firmly in your mind. Action, too, must be inspired and fearless. Do not act from struggle, but from joy, from the sense of divine guidance that whispers the next step. When you meet a choice, a project, or an opportunity, let intuition lead rather than fear. Trust that the infinite provides all that is needed at the perfect moment. Multiply your wealth by allowing creativity, courage, and service to guide every endeavor. Your work is not merely to earn, but to give, to contribute, and to let the currents of good flow freely through you. Remember, wealth is not measured merely in coins and currency. It is measured in the richness of your experience, in the power of your ideas, in the connections you cultivate, and in the joy you radiate. To truly multiply your wealth tenfold, you must release limitation, forgive the past, and declare your right to abundance with unwavering certainty. The universe always responds to courage, clarity, and faith. Hold this truth in your consciousness. The flow of prosperity is natural, inevitable, and eternal. When you align your thoughts, words, and actions with this flow, multiplication occurs effortlessly, tenfold, 100-fold, and beyond. The universe has a way of delivering more than the mind can conceive. When the heart believes without hesitation, every thought you hold is a seed planted in the fertile soil of your consciousness, and every word you speak is the water that nourishes it. The very moment you conceive a thought about lack, limitation, or poverty, you begin a process that will inevitably manifest in your experience. The mind cannot distinguish between imagination and reality in the same way the divine law does. It receives your inner pictures, your beliefs, and your words as commands to be fulfilled. It is therefore essential to recognize that you are not merely a passive observer in your financial life, but the active creator of every detail that appears in your world. Wealth begins first in the invisible realms of thought before it arrives in the tangible world of currency, property, or material resources. If you observe carefully, you will notice that many people pray or wish for wealth while simultaneously dwelling on fear, debt, or limitation. This contradiction creates confusion in the subconscious mind. The subconscious does not argue, it simply accepts what is impressed upon it. Thus, if you say, "I wish I had money, but I am always in debt," Your mind hears only the always in debt parts to organize circumstances that reflect that limitation. The law of mind responds not to desire alone, but to the dominant thought, the one most deeply impressed, and the one most frequently spoken. This is why awareness of every word that passes your lips is of supreme importance. Consider the power of affirmations spoken with feeling and conviction. When you affirm, "I am a magnet for abundance," prosperity flows to me effortlessly. You are not merely thoughts and words as creative power uttering a phrase. You are impressing your subconscious with a picture of wealth as a present reality. You are planting seeds that, when nurtured with faith and repeated consistently, will blossom into visible riches. The mind responds to repetition and emotion, and the combination of clear vision and heartfelt belief accelerates the manifestation of wealth. Each positive statement becomes a vibration in the unseen realm, drawing into your life the opportunities, people, and resources necessary for the fulfillment of your financial desires. The words you hear from others are equally powerful. Criticism, complaint, or doubt spoken by those around you can influence your mind if you give them attention. Guard your hearing and choose carefully the company in which you surround yourself. Align with voices that uplift, that speak in terms of success, abundance, and possibility, for their vibrations reinforce the seeds you are planting within yourself. Likewise, guard the words you speak to yourself in moments of doubt. Self-talk, if negative, becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you repeatedly tell yourself, "I will never have enough," you are issuing a command that the law will fulfill with precision, bringing experiences that mirror the very limitation you fear. Thought alone is not enough, for it must be married to feeling. Feeling is the soul of creation. When your thoughts of wealth are accompanied by joy, gratitude, and certainty, the seeds planted in your consciousness take root more deeply and grow rapidly. Imagine the sensation of holding abundance in your hands even before it manifests. See yourself paying your bills with ease, enjoying the luxuries you desire, sharing freely with others. These feelings impress upon the subconscious mind the reality of wealth and set in motion the unseen currents of the law that will align events, ideas, and people to bring your inner picture into the outer world. Many fail to understand that poverty is often perpetuated by unseen mental habits. A single repeated thought, spoken daily or held persistently, can create a field of resistance that blocks the flow of prosperity. To multiply your wealth, it is necessary to become vigilant over these habits. Catch yourself when a thought of lack arises and gently redirect your mind to the image of sufficiency and abundance. Replace worry with trust, fear with faith, and limitation with vision. The mind, once trained in this manner, becomes a loyal servant, drawing circumstances that reflect the creative power of your inner words and thoughts. Generosity of thought and word also opens the channel for material prosperity. Speak blessings over others. Affirm their success and rejoice in the good fortunes of those around you. Every positive word spoken to uplift another sends a vibration into the invisible realm that returns to you in multiplied measure. The law of abundance is reciprocal. It is ever ready to respond to the thoughts and words of kindness, gratitude, and constructive belief. By affirming wealth not only for yourself, but for others, you participate in a universal circulation of prosperity. And in doing so, you invite the same flow into your own life. The power of words extends beyond affirmations into declarations of purpose. When you declare your intention to succeed, to prosper, to live a life of abundance, you are issuing a divine command. The universe recognizes clarity and conviction. Ambiguous desires yield ambiguous results, but words spoken with certainty and authority create a direct channel through which abundance can flow. Think carefully, speak boldly, and act with confidence. For each of these steps is a declaration that your wealth is already present in the unseen, awaiting manifestation in the seen. In every moment, you are either consciously creating wealth or unconsciously allowing limitation to dominate. The thoughts you think, the words you speak, and the pictures you hold in your mind form the blueprint of your financial destiny. It is a law as immutable as the law of gravity that your inner world will determine the outer. Therefore, the wise soul chooses thoughts of abundance, speaks only words that affirm prosperity, and holds a vision of wealth that is vivid, joyful, and unshakable. In doing so, you align with the infinite supply that is ever ready to respond to the mind that knows its power and claims it without hesitation. The mind is a powerful instrument, and the images you hold within it are the architects of your reality. To visualize abundance is not merely a hopeful exercise. It is a deliberate act of creation that aligns your consciousness with the invisible currents of prosperity. Whatever you consistently picture in your mind, whether in thought or imagination, is recorded by the subconscious and set into motion for manifestation. The key is to make these images clear, vivid, and imbued with feeling, for the law responds not to vague wishes, but to detailed, emotionally charged pictures held steadily in the mind. Many people desire wealth, yet their mental pictures are faint or inconsistent. They imagine visualizing wealth as a present reality, what it would be like to have abundance, but their vision flickers, interrupted by doubt, worry, or disbelief. This hesitation creates resistance in the unseen realm. The subconscious, obedient to your dominant imagery, cannot differentiate between what is real and what is imagined with conviction. It organizes circumstances and opportunities that mirror the mental picture most strongly impressed. Therefore, to truly multiply your wealth, it is necessary to cultivate a clear and compelling vision of the life you wish to live, held firmly in the consciousness as though it already exists. Visualization is most potent when combined with feeling. The imagination alone can suggest possibilities, but feeling breathes life into the image. Picture yourself walking into a room filled with opportunities, hearing the sound of success, feeling the joy of having your needs met and your desires fulfilled. Experience in your mind the textures, colors, sounds, and sensations of abundance. Let yourself smile, feel relief, taste freedom, and breathe the air of prosperity. The law of mind responds to this emotional resonance, recognizing it as a present reality rather than a distant dream. The more vivid and pleasurable the imagined experience, the more compelling the call to the invisible forces of abundance. Repetition strengthens the creative process. Daily practice of visualization embeds the images into the subconscious mind, making them dominant over contradictory thoughts or doubts. When you rise in the morning, take a few moments to picture your day unfolding in prosperity. See opportunities, clients, projects, or ventures flowing effortlessly into your life. Feel the sense of satisfaction and achievement as if it is happening now. In the evening, revisit the images, reviewing and enhancing them, holding them in consciousness as a firm and certain reality. Through consistent practice, your inner vision becomes a blueprint for outer manifestation, guiding events and circumstances toward the fulfillment of your wealth. It is also crucial to avoid mixing fear or negativity into your visualizations. If you imagine wealth but simultaneously worry about failure, debt, or scarcity, you weaken the creative force of your mental picture. The subconscious does not filter contradictions. It faithfully executes the image impressed upon it. Therefore, your task is to cultivate a pure, unshakable image of abundance, free from the shadows of doubt or fear. Imagine wealth flowing to you from multiple sources effortlessly, easily, and continuously. See yourself using that wealth to create joy, to serve others, and to live in freedom. This mental clarity produces a vibrational harmony that attracts the exact circumstances required for manifestation. Your surroundings and habits can reinforce your visualizations. Create a physical environment that reflects the abundance you wish to experience. Keep your space clean, organized, and uplifting, for the external world influences the inner mind. Surround yourself with symbols, reminders, or objects that evoke prosperity and success. As you encounter these reminders, let them trigger the mental images of wealth you are cultivating. In this way, the subconscious is continuously impressed with the reality of abundance, reinforcing your vision and accelerating its materialization. Visualization works best when coupled with gratitude. As you hold the mental images of prosperity, feel deep gratitude for the abundance that is already present as well as for what is on its way. Gratitude elevates your vibration, dissolves resistance, and aligns your mind with a universal flow of supply. It communicates to the unseen forces that you are ready and worthy to receive, opening channels for wealth to flow into every area of your life. Every moment spent imagining and feeling abundance while expressing gratitude strengthens the magnetic pull of prosperity. It is also helpful to visualize beyond immediate needs or limitations. See not only what you desire, but also what you could scarcely imagine. The human mind tends to restrict vision to what seems possible or realistic, yet the law operates on infinite possibilities. Picture a life 10, 50, or even 100 times richer than your current reality. Imagine opportunities, experiences, and resources. Preparing in unexpected ways, creating a life of freedom and expansion. The more expansive your vision, the more you align with the infinite supply that knows no bounds. Visualization is not a passive exercise. It is a conscious creative act. As you picture abundance, allow yourself to feel empowered, inspired, and motivated. Let your imagination guide your actions, not as a substitute for effort, but as a clarifying map. Your inner vision will reveal opportunities, ideas, and strategies that the mind alone could not generate. When action is aligned with vivid visualization, every step you take is directed by an unseen intelligence, orchestrating circumstances in perfect harmony with the wealth you have imagined. As your visualizations gain strength, you will notice a shift in perception. Doors that once seemed closed begin to open effortlessly. Ideas and opportunities appear as if by magic. People respond positively, and circumstances arrange themselves to reflect the abundance you hold in consciousness. This is the law at work. When your inner vision is clear, consistent, and filled with feeling, the inspired action and inner guidance outer world rearranges itself to match your inner picture. The universe cannot resist a mind that knows what it wants and holds that picture unwaveringly. Action is the bridge between vision and manifestation. Yet not all action carries the same power. Some actions arise from fear, worry, or obligation, while others spring naturally from joy, inspiration, and alignment with divine guidance. To multiply wealth tenfold, it is essential to understand that the quality of your action determines the speed and ease with which prosperity flows into your life. Action taken under the influence of fear or anxiety is often heavy, resisted, and prone to failure, while action inspired by joy is light, magnetic, and irresistibly effective. The universe recognizes the spirit behind the effort, responding not merely to the effort itself, but to the energy in which it is performed. Joy is a powerful signal to the unseen forces. When you act with delight, enthusiasm, and confidence, you communicate to the infinite that you are in harmony with the flow of abundance. Each step taken in this state becomes a conduit for opportunities, ideas, and resources to converge around you. Conversely, action taken out of strain, worry, or desperation generates resistance, often attracting experiences that mirror the tension you carry. Therefore, cultivating a state of inner joy before and during action is not optional. It is a fundamental principle in the art of multiplying wealth. The inner disposition colors the outer result. Divine guidance, intuition, or inner prompting is a subtle but unmistakable force that directs the steps toward prosperity. Many individuals overlook or dismiss these gentle nudges, choosing instead to rely solely on logic, opinion, or conventional advice. Yet the mind that is quiet, receptive, and trusting in higher intelligence will discern the right moment, the perfect opportunity, and the most effective course of action. Acting from this guidance is different from impulsive decision-making. It is inspired, intelligent, and effortless. When you act under the direction of this inner wisdom, you align yourself with currents that bring results far beyond what human planning alone could achieve. To act from joy and guidance, first cultivate stillness. Begin each day with quiet reflection, meditation, or a moment of heartfelt gratitude. In these moments, the mind becomes receptive and the heart opens to subtle directions that otherwise go unnoticed. Visualize the tasks ahead with anticipation and pleasure, imagining their completion with ease and success. In this state, actions are no longer forced, but flow naturally, guided by intuition and inspired thinking. The smallest tasks can become opportunities for wealth when performed with a joyful, alert mind and an awareness of divine guidance. Often, people hesitate to take action because they fear failure, rejection, or inadequacy. This fear is a signal that the mind is disconnected from joy and guidance. The antidote is trust. Trust in your inner wisdom, trust in the abundance of the universe, and trust in your own ability to respond creatively. When fear arises, acknowledge it, but do not dwell upon it. Instead, redirect your focus to the sense of ease, confidence, and excitement that accompanies inspired action. As you do so, resistance dissolves and the path to prosperity becomes clear and unimpeded. Action inspired by joy also produces a magnetic effect on others. People naturally respond to enthusiasm and positivity. Whether in business, collaboration, or networking, your energy attracts allies, clients, and opportunities. Doors that seemed closed will open effortlessly when your presence radiates certainty, optimism, and delight. This magnetism is a reflection of your alignment with divine guidance and abundance. By choosing joy as the source of all action, you create an invisible force that draws wealth toward you, often in unexpected and miraculous ways. The practice of acting from joy and guidance requires discernment. Not every idea or impulse is inspired, and not every opportunity is aligned with your highest good. The inner voice of wisdom distinguishes between what is a distraction and what is a divine nudge. Learn to pause, listen, and feel before committing to a course of action. When the answer comes as a sense of excitement, ease, or inner clarity, it is usually a signal that the step is in harmony with your vision of abundance. When hesitation, confusion, or heaviness arises, it is a cue to wait, refine, or seek further clarity. Acting in this manner ensures that your efforts are multiplied rather than diluted by doubt or misalignment. Consistency in inspired action compounds results. Even small steps, if taken with joy, faith, and guidance, accumulate into significant momentum over time. Do not underestimate the power of daily deliberate inspired action. Each task completed in a state of alignment becomes a building block for larger achievements. The law operates through these compounded efforts, transforming seemingly ordinary actions into extraordinary outcomes. The key is to maintain the inner state of joy and to trust the direction of guidance, knowing that every step taken in harmony with the divine is moving you closer to multiplied wealth. In acting from joy, it is also important to remain detached from the outcome. The mind that clings to results generates tension and anxiety, which diminishes the creative power of inspired action. Focus on the quality of the action itself, on the sense of alignment, and on the feeling of participation in the flow of abundance. Allow the universe to releasing limitation, fear, and doubt arrange the results according to its infinite wisdom. This detachment does not imply passivity. Rather, it allows for a natural unfolding where timing, circumstances, and synchronicities work in your favor, often in ways far greater than what could be planned or forced. The joy-infused mind sees opportunity in every situation. Challenges, delays, and obstacles are reframed as lessons, guidance, or stepping stones to greater wealth. When your actions are energized by joy, setbacks do not discourage but redirect you, opening new avenues previously unseen. The mind aligned with guidance recognizes the hidden potential in every event, turning difficulties into catalysts for creative solutions and multiplied prosperity. This perspective transforms action into a dynamic, responsive, and fruitful process, rather than a struggle or burden. Every act, whether large or small, becomes a channel for abundance when performed with joy and guidance. Paying bills, responding to emails, meeting clients, or pursuing projects are no longer mundane obligations, but opportunities to participate in the flow of wealth. The secret is not in the task itself, but in the consciousness with which it is performed. The same work done under fear and strain produces limitation. The same work done with joy and inspiration produces prosperity. By cultivating this inner attitude, you activate a power within yourself that no external circumstance can diminish, and wealth begins to multiply effortlessly. Limitation and doubt are the invisible chains that bind the human mind, preventing the full flow of abundance from entering life. They arise from old beliefs, past experiences, and repeated patterns of fear, convincing the individual that there is a boundary to what can be received. Yet limitation is never real. It exists only as a mental impression, a shadow on the consciousness, which can be removed as easily as a cloud drifting across the sky. To release limitation is to recognize that the supply of the universe is infinite, that the law of abundance is impartial, and that every human being has a right to claim the wealth, joy, and success that are inherently theirs. The first step in releasing limitation is to identify the thoughts and beliefs that create it. Notice carefully the words you say to yourself. I can't afford it. It's impossible for me. I never get ahead. Each phrase is a command to the subconscious mind, a seed planted that will produce experiences in alignment with lack. Limitation is a self-imposed law until it is consciously removed. By observing these statements without judgment, you gain awareness of their presence and power. Awareness is the doorway to freedom, for only that which is recognized can be transformed. Once the limiting beliefs are observed, they can be replaced with affirmations of possibility and abundance. Speak to your mind in clear, positive, and authoritative language. There is always more than enough. I am open to receive wealth in many forms. The supply of the universe is limitless and flows freely to me. Repeat these declarations consistently, allowing the subconscious to absorb the new pattern. The mind will gradually discard the old impressions of scarcity, for it is designed to serve the dominant thought. Persistence in this practice builds new channels for abundance to flow unhindered. Doubt is a companion to limitation. It whispers hesitation, weakens faith, and obscures the vision of what is possible. Every moment of doubt is a moment in which the law of abundance is blocked by disbelief. To release doubt, one must cultivate unwavering trust in the unseen forces that govern prosperity. Trust that the universe is always ready to supply, that opportunities are constantly presenting themselves, and that your capacity to receive is infinite. Doubt disappears when replaced by certainty, and certainty grows when repeatedly reinforced through visualization, affirmation, and conscious expectation. It is also essential to release attachment to past failures or disappointments. Many carry the weight of previous struggles, believing they define future outcomes. This belief is a powerful form of limitation, as it convinces the mind that past experiences are predictive of what is possible. Yet the present is a new creation, and each moment offers an opportunity to rewrite the story of your life. Forgive the past, release resentment, and allow yourself to start anew with a clean slate. The law of abundance responds to the freshness of mind and the openness of spirit, not to clinging to what has already been. Limitation can also be perpetuated by fear of judgment, criticism, or the unknown. The mind fears what it does not understand and therefore constructs boundaries where none truly exist. To release this form of limitation, cultivate courage and faith in your own power to create. Step forward into opportunity, even when the path is not fully visible, trusting that guidance and support are present at every stage. Each act of courage weakens the grip of fear, demonstrating to the subconscious mind that you are ready to operate from a place of possibility rather than restriction. Another effective way to release limitation and doubt is to focus on gratitude. When the mind is occupied with appreciation for what is already present, it cannot dwell in scarcity. Gratitude elevates consciousness and opens channels for more to flow. By acknowledging and celebrating abundance, however small, you train the subconscious to recognize that life is filled with endless supply. Each act of gratitude is a release of limitation, a declaration that you are aligned with the infinite resources of the universe and worthy to receive more. Releasing limitation requires vigilance over the thoughts and conversations engaged in daily life. Avoid participating in dialogues of lack, complaint, or negativity, whether in your own mind or in the company of others. Words spoken in fear or doubt wealth as a flow, not a struggle, carry vibrational energy that reinforces limitation. Choose instead to engage in discussions that affirm possibility, growth, and prosperity. Let your thoughts be your allies rather than your enemies, and speak with authority over your own life, commanding that limitation and doubt be removed from every area of experience. Faith is the instrument through which limitation is dissolved. It is not a passive hope but a knowing, a certainty that abundance is your natural state. Each time you affirm, "I am free from limitation, prosperity is my natural state," you impress the subconscious with the truth that has always existed. Faith acts as a catalyst, activating the unseen mechanisms of the law, bringing resources, ideas, and opportunities into alignment with your conscious desire. The stronger your faith, the more rapidly doubt and limitation are replaced with the energy of creative power. It is also important to understand that releasing limitation is a continuous practice. Old beliefs may resurface. External circumstances may challenge your perception, and moments of hesitation may appear. Each time this occurs, return to your affirmations, your visualizations, and your awareness of the infinite supply. With repeated effort, the mind becomes conditioned to operate from abundance rather than scarcity. Gradually, limitation loses its power. Doubt fades, and the natural flow of prosperity becomes unobstructed. Releasing limitation involves a deep trust in the wisdom of the unseen, a surrender of control to the intelligence of the law, and a conscious choice to operate from possibility. Limitations exist only where they are imagined, and every act of faith, gratitude, and positive thought removes the barrier. When the mind is free, creative ideas emerge, opportunities are recognized, and wealth can manifest in ways previously thought impossible. Every thought, word, and feeling aligned with abundance strengthens the flow, dissolves restriction, and opens the way for multiplied prosperity to enter effortlessly. Wealth is not a burden to be earned through endless struggle, nor is it a prize to be wrestled from the hands of fate. True prosperity flows like a river, effortless, natural, and constant, moving to those who understand the laws of its circulation. The human mind often perceives money and abundance as difficult to obtain, as if every coin must be fought for. But this is a false belief, a limitation impressed upon consciousness by tradition, fear, or misunderstanding. The law of abundance operates not on struggle, but on alignment, receptivity, and joyful participation in the infinite flow of the universe. When you understand this principle, the very act of creating wealth becomes a harmonious dance rather than a laborious task. The first step to recognizing wealth as a flow is to release the notion that it must be earned through strain or sacrifice. Many believe that working harder, longer, and with greater intensity is the path to financial security. Yet struggle often produces tension, resistance, and fatigue, which block the channels of abundance. The law does not reward exhaustion. It responds to clarity, joy, and a mind attuned to possibilities. When your thoughts, feelings, and actions are aligned with the natural current of supply, wealth moves to you as easily as water finds its way to the sea. The more you resist the flow through fear, doubt, or overexertion, the slower and more limited your experience of prosperity becomes. To participate in the flow of wealth, cultivate a consciousness of ease and receptivity, the mind that expects abundance, that trusts in the supply of the universe, and that opens willingly to opportunities, experiences prosperity without struggle. Visualization, affirmation, and feeling are instruments that align your inner world with this current. Picture yourself receiving wealth effortlessly, experiencing joy as opportunities present themselves, and moving through life with confidence in the natural provision of the infinite. The more vividly and consistently you maintain this picture, the stronger the current becomes, drawing resources and possibilities into your experience with minimal resistance. Wealth as a flow also requires generosity of spirit. Money, like energy, circulates naturally when allowed to move freely. Holding tightly to resources, hoarding, or clinging out of fear blocks the river of prosperity. Those who understand the law give freely, offer assistance, and share blessings with others, trusting that what they release will return multiplied. The act of giving aligns consciousness with the principle that abundance is unlimited. The universe responds to the circulation of wealth, returning it in greater measure to those who do not fear loss, but embrace the flow. Generosity, therefore, is not only an expression of kindness, but a key to participating fully in the effortless movement of prosperity. Resistance, worry, and doubt act as dams that obstruct the natural flow. Each moment spent in fear of scarcity, in comparison, or in resentment creates tension that hinders the arrival of wealth. To remove these blocks, cultivate a mind of trust, optimism, and expectation. See integrating faith, action, and expectation opportunities as gifts, challenges as guidance, and resources as endless. When the consciousness is free from limitation, abundance flows naturally, often in ways that surpass the imagination. The mind that moves with the current rather than against it becomes a magnet for effortless provision. And wealth is experienced as a river of supply rather than a battle to be won. The flow of wealth is also connected to alignment with one's true purpose. Effort expended in joy, creativity, and service naturally attracts prosperity. When you engage in work that resonates with your talents and passions, the energy invested multiplies rather than depletes. The law recognizes the harmony between purpose and action, producing results that are not merely transactional but expansive. Wealth flows to those who contribute meaningfully, innovate with enthusiasm, and embrace the satisfaction of being instruments of good. The more joy and alignment you bring to your work, the more effortlessly the abundance moves toward you. Flow requires a sense of trust in timing and unseen guidance. Often individuals attempt to force results, becoming anxious when immediate rewards are not apparent. Yet the law of circulation moves according to perfect timing, orchestrating circumstances and aligning people, ideas, and opportunities in unseen ways. Patience, faith, and trust allow the flow to operate unimpeded. By surrendering to the intelligence of the law rather than imposing personal pressure or insistence, the mind opens to the myriad channels through which wealth may arrive. Every delay or apparent obstacle becomes a redirection toward a richer, more abundant manifestation. Attitude is the medium through which the flow is experienced. A mind filled with gratitude, expectation, and joy naturally attracts more wealth, while a mind heavy with fear, frustration, or envy resists. Every thought, feeling, and word either aligns with the river of abundance or impedes it. Therefore, monitoring consciousness is essential. Celebrate small gains, acknowledge the unseen support constantly, and affirm the continuous presence of supply. The mind that trusts in the ease of life naturally encounters opportunities, connections, and solutions that would otherwise remain hidden. Flow is also about simplicity. Abundance does not require complexity, struggle, or convoluted effort. It thrives in clarity, focus, and effortless engagement with life's opportunities. Simplify thoughts, words, and actions, removing unnecessary worry and striving. Let your vision be clear, your intentions aligned, and your steps deliberate but joyous. Each act, when performed in harmony with the current, becomes a catalyst for multiplied wealth, and every effort compounds naturally without friction. One of the most important principles of flow is detachment from results. Obsession with outcomes creates tension, fear, and limitation. Like water moves best when unimpeded by resistance. Focus on alignment, joyful participation, and inspired action. Rather than grasping for a specific reward, trust that the universe will arrange circumstances in accordance with the highest good, delivering provision in ways that may surpass expectations. Detachment does not mean inactivity. It means acting with clarity, enthusiasm, and faith, leaving the unseen to manage the return of abundance. Finally, the awareness that wealth is a flow changes perception entirely. Life ceases to be a struggle and becomes a creative, joyful engagement with the infinite supply. Opportunities are recognized, ideas are multiplied, and energy moves naturally toward fulfillment. Each thought, word, and action contributes to the river, and the individual experiences prosperity as a continual, effortless current. The mind that understands and participates in this flow no longer competes with life, but moves with it, becoming a magnet for multiplied wealth in every form.